So we just discussed about how important science outreach is as a method of communication, and we were talking about your blog as well, Rapid Uplift. And obviously, we couldn't resist going through it. And we found this really interesting section that you had called My Bookshelf. And we
Yeah.
were going through it. Yeah, we were going through it, and you had recommended a lot of books that you've read in the past. So, and you also mentioned right now that a lot of journalists and people email you and ask you about recommendations. So, what recommendation would you give to our audience? Like, what's a good book to start with to, establish their knowledge about this subject and about our planet?
Okay, so I read that question yesterday and took out 3 books, which I'm going to show you one by one. So, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, that's
This is
really
Reading
good.
the Rocks by Marcia Bergenrud. Yeah. This is an excellent introduction to geology, fundamental processes, and she's written it really well using a lot of analogies and metaphors, and so it makes it easy to understand how the earth works. So that's a good introduction. By the same author, Timefulness.
Okay.
Timefulness. Okay. So this is more of a kind of rambling on chronology and how time, thinking about time is a really important role.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there are processes that work on the scale of seconds, and there are processes that continue for millions of years.
Millions of
So,
years,
how do you wrap this around your head? How do you understand this? And what are the techniques that geologists use to understand and pin down timing and rates of processes? So that's another really good book. Yeah. And third is for those who are a little paleontology minded and want to understand the history of life, but that is intertwined with geology. I mean, you can't separate the two, right?
Absolutely.
Called A New History of Life by Peter Ward and Joe Kirschwink. It's really a really good book. So it's kind of the broad sweep of Earth, life on Earth, right? From origins to hominin evolution, human evolution.
And how that changed over the years.
How has life evolved, obviously, but how have geological processes fed into or pushed evolutionary trajectories in one way or the other, So that's a good book also. So I would recommend these 3 to begin with. I mean, you have the usual textbooks and all that, but I like these 3 a lot. I mean, especially for someone who wants to get an introduction to the subject, both from a hard kind of geology perspective and also from evolution and life, because that's an important aspect of geology, paleontology and fossils, and you can learn a lot about environments and ecology and climates based on.
And that again, emphasizes on the interaction between
absolutely
things and basically the biotic and abiotic components of.
I mean, geology by itself is a field that uses a lot of other sciences, right? I mean, we use chemistry, we use physics, we use biology, and this book in particular, History of Life, kind of nibbles at all these other subjects and kind of brings it together, which I liked a lot.